My name is Marcus. I was 38 years old, mid-level analyst at a hedge fund called Sterling Capital. I made $220,000 a year. Bonus was another $150,000. Married for 12 years. 2 kids, a girl 10, a boy 7. We lived in a 4-bedroom house in Naperville. The mortgage was $4,200 a month. We had a golden retriever named Charlie. Life was boring. Life was good. I had never broken a rule in my life. Not a speeding ticket. Not a parking violation. I filed my taxes on time. I returned library books early. I was the kind of person who read the terms of service. That's not a joke. I actually read them. Then my phone rang. It was my college roommate, Derek. We hadn't spoken in 3 years. Derek worked at a pharmaceutical company in New Jersey. He was a senior director of clinical trials. He knew things. Secret things. He said, "Marcus, I need to tell you something. But you can't tell anyone." I said, "Okay." He said, "I mean it. No one." I said, "Okay." He said, "The FDA is rejecting our new drug. The announcement comes next Thursday. The stock would drop 40% at least." I didn't say anything. My heart started pounding. I could feel it in my throat. He said, "I'm telling you because I'm scared. I've been shorting it for 2 months. I've made $700,000. I need someone to know, in case something happens." I said, "What do you mean something happens?" He said, "I don't know. I needed to tell someone." He hung up. I sat there. The Bloomberg terminal was glowing. The stock in question was trading at $84. I pulled up the chart. It had been climbing for 6 months. Everyone was bullish. Analysts had price targets of $120, $140. One idiot at Goldman said $200. I knew something they didn't. I didn't trade that day, or the next, or the next. I told myself it was insider trading. Illegal. I could go to jail. I could lose my job. I could lose my family. But the number kept floating in my head. $700,000. Derek had made $700,000. On March 7th, I opened a brokerage account at a different firm. Not my usual one. A new one. Online. I transferred $50,000 from our joint savings. I told my wife I was rebalancing. She didn't ask questions. She trusted me. I bought put options. 500 contracts. Expiring in 2 weeks. Strike price, $75. Total cost, $47,000. The next day, the stock went up $1.20. My options lost $12,000 in value. I didn't sell. I couldn't sleep. I laid in bed next to my wife, staring at the ceiling. She asked if I was okay. I said, "Work stuff." March 9th, the stock went up another 80 cents. I lost another $8,000. I was down $20,000. I wanted to vomit. March 10th, I doubled down, bought another 500 contracts. Another $45,000. Total position, $92,000. Total at risk, our entire savings. That night, I didn't go to bed. I sat in my home office. My wife came down at 2 a.m. She said, "Marcus, what is happening?" I said, "Nothing. Go back to sleep." She said, "You're scaring me." I said, "I'm fine." She went back upstairs. March 11th. The stock was flat. My options bled value from time decay. I lost another $6,000. I was down $26,000 total. I had 3 days until the FDA announcement. March 12th, Derek called again. He said it's over. The rejection is official. They're announcing tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I said, "Thank you." He said, "Don't thank me. Just be careful." He hung up. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at my desk, watched the clock. 8 a.m. came. The news hit. FDA rejects new drug application. The stock opened at $82, then $78, then $71, then $64. By 10 a.m., it was $49. My options were worth $390,000. I sold at $49.50. Profit, $340,000. I stared at the screen. My hands were shaking. I had made more money in 2 hours than I made in a year at my job. I transferred the money back to my savings account. I called my wife. I said, "I made some money." She said, "How much?" I said, "A lot." She said, "How?" I said, "I'll explain tonight." I didn't explain. I lied. I said I made a smart trade on a tech stock. She believed me. She always believed me. 2 weeks passed. I didn't trade again. I told myself I was done. One time. That's it. No one would ever know. Then the FBI came. May 22nd, 8:14 a.m. I was walking into the office. Two men in suits were waiting by the elevator. One was tall. One was short. They showed me badges. Marcus Chun, we need to talk. I said, about what? They said, we can do this here or at our office. I said, here. We went to a conference room. They asked about Derek. They asked about the trades. They asked about the phone call. They had records. They had everything. I said, I want a lawyer. They said, that's your right. I called a criminal defense attorney. His name was Goldstein. He cost $1,200 an hour. I paid a $100,000 retainer. He said, don't talk to anyone. Don't delete anything. Don't leave town. Derek had already confessed. He had been cooperating for weeks. He gave them my name. He gave them the phone call. He gave them everything. I was charged with insider trading in July. The SEC filed civil charges. The DOJ filed criminal charges. My face was on the front page of the Wall Street Journal online. The headline, hedge fund analyst charged in pharma insider trading scheme. My wife saw it. She came into my office. She held her phone. She said, is this true? I said, yes. She said, the money? I said, illegal. She said, our savings. I said, gone. They'll take it back. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just walked out. She took the kids to her mother's house. She didn't come back for 3 weeks. I lost my job the next day. HR walked me out. Security watched me clean my desk. My boss, a man named Richard who I had worked for 11 years, wouldn't look at me. He said, I'm disappointed. I said, I know. The SEC fined me $620,000. That was all the money I had. The $340,000 profit, plus my savings, plus my 401k, plus the bonus I had already spent. I sold a house. I sold a car. I sold my watches. I sold my wife's jewelry. She didn't ask for it back. I gave her the money anyway. I pled guilty in October. The judge gave me 11 months in federal prison. Not a white-collar resort. A real prison. FCI Elkton in Ohio. Medium security. I shared a cell with a guy named Big Mike. He was in for wire fraud. He taught me how to make coffee from instant packets. He taught me not to owe anyone anything. I did 9 months for good behavior. I got out in July. My wife picked me up. She didn't hug me. She just said, get in the car. We're divorced now. She has the kids. I have visitation every other weekend. I pay $1,800 a month in child support. I am current on every payment. That is the only thing I do right. I live in a studio apartment in Phoenix. $1,100 a month. I drive for Uber. I make $45,000 a year. I have $14,000 in savings. I have no 401k. I have no investments. I have no future in finance. I am 45 years old. I was a senior analyst. I made $370,000 a year. I had a house. I had a wife. I had kids. I had a dog. Now, I have a 2019 Toyota Camry with 120,000 miles. I have a phone charger that only works if I twist it at a certain angle. I have a picture of my kids on my nightstand. I have a picture of Charlie the dog. I don't have a picture of my ex-wife. I think about Derek sometimes. He got probation. No prison time. He cooperated. He gave them me. I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing. Maybe. I think about that phone call. March 4th, 9:47 a.m. If I had hung up. If I had said, I don't want to know. If I had just eaten my turkey sandwich. But I didn't. I answered. I listened. I traded. I lost. The money is gone. The job is gone. The family is gone. I'm still here, driving strangers to the airport, listening to their stories, wondering if they have secrets too. I don't give financial advice anymore. I don't even give driving advice. I just drive. My therapist says I need to forgive myself. I've been seeing her for 2 years. $150 a week. She says, you made a mistake. You paid for it. You deserve to move on. I say I know, but I don't believe her. Not yet. Maybe someday. Today, I have 3 Uber rides. A trip to the grocery store. A phone call with my daughter. She's 12 now. She asked me last week if I was a bad person. I said I did a bad thing. I'm not a bad person.